Yo, what's up, my D-Gens? What's going on, guys? Good afternoon. It's afternoon now. Holy smokes, this day just flew by so far. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's see what's going on out there in the world of the election and of crypto. How is crypto responding so far? Pretty freaking good. Okay, pretty freaking good. Now, it's an exciting day, guys. I thought about live streaming coverage of the election. However, I'm going to give you bits and pieces of it as we go along because YouTube, if you live stream it all as a whole, YouTube will shut you down. So that's not so good, right? So anyway, there will be a lot of talk about what's going on with the election, mostly related to crypto, though, guys. So strap in, strap on. Look at Jasmy here. We came up to the top of the buy zone here. Rejected off. I wouldn't say rejected off. We've wicked up to it. We came back down just a tiny bit. Trying to break through there, guys. We need Bitcoin to have a sustainable close today, a good close. Once again, we are also watching the 30-day SMA here. We've rejected off it very, very violently. As you've seen, three times we rejected off and then down to the downside, right? Rejected off it here to the downside, twice to the downside. 3 times to the downside. So we got to break through that 30-day SMA, guys, over on Jasmy. If we have a look over at Bitcoin, let's see what's going on over here. Bitcoin holding over 70,000 right now. Hopefully we can get the crypto future pump in effect, maybe running up to about 71, 72,000. We'll see what happens as the stream goes along, but that is a nice juicy daily candle. Now, we told you guys about 4 days ago that we were going to come down and we were going to kiss off of this 30-day SMA on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, and we did just that. Look at that exactly. It touched it exactly. Perfect kiss, and then to the upside, right? So let's go have a look at the crypto bubbles to see what's going on in the market. How is the market responding to the election thus far? So far, pretty freaking good, man. Pretty freaking good. 70,100 for Bitcoin. Swift having itself a fantastic run, was up over 15% earlier, 11.8%. Miri is up 11%. Onyx coin up 8.6%. Things look fantastic across the broader market. There's only like 3 reds that I'm looking at here: Forta, Toncoin, and Taraxa. Everything else is pumping very, very nice. Hopefully you guys have been dollar cost averaging, buying these dips, because things look fantastic. Now, if you're new here, guys, I'm going to show you something, okay? I'm going to show you on the Bitcoin chart here. Bear with me here. You're going to love this, okay? So if we zoom out, and I've showed you guys this, if you've been here for a while, you know this, okay? But if you zoom out, have a look. This here was the last U.S. election right here. Look what happened immediately after, not weeks later, not months later, within days. Bitcoin started going parabolic immediately after the election. So, are we about to see the exact same thing happen once again? I personally believe, yes, we are about to see this run once again coming to fruition. Let's get into the news. Guys, listen, I will get into the chat shortly. Let's get through some of the news first, and then I will jump into the chat. I see a lot of you guys chatting it up. Keep leaving your comments, your questions, everything in the chat. I will get to them a little bit later. So Jasmy rigorously preparing to launch its stablecoin, JPYD. What's essential to understand is that to operate a stablecoin in Japan, it's imperative that the associated assets are solidly backed. In other words, they need to be linked to tangible values for the safety of the users. So basically what he's saying here is Jasmy has to have at least 100 million yen to back their JPYD stablecoin consistently, okay? So, and they're working rigorously to launch their stablecoin. Very, very bullish news there, guys. Cannot wait for that to happen. Also, guys, we talked about this in a video I did this morning, but we have another AMA coming with Hara. He will be doing an AMA with Musum Chan. I will be waiting for the English translation for it, but Very, very bullish on this. It happens tomorrow in Japan, which would be in the middle of the night tonight for us, right? So I'm excited about that as well. Moving along, what do we got? This is pretty big, guys. This is big news. Now, this is going to be a separate video, but I'm going to talk about it here as well. So we got Web3 Labs Club. Congratulations, Janction. Web3 Labs and KuCoin Labs. Janction is in agreement that originated in Japan and focuses on the AI market. Based on the concept of GPUs as mining machines, Janction reactivates idle GPUs held by consumers through two consensus mechanisms: proof of resource and proof of task, providing cheap and stable computing power resources for the AI market. The Web3 Labs, KuCoin Labs Global Acceleration Program aims to deeply explore and empower high-quality projects in the Web3 field, including special giant incentives. Grant incentives. KuCoin ventures potential investment incentives, etc. Looking forward to more high-quality developers joining us. Congratulations to Janction on successfully joining the Web3 Labs and KuCoin Labs Global Acceleration Program. Next, Web3 Labs and KuCoin Labs will fully dedicate themselves to matching Janction with market, business, and capital to exchange resources, initiating comprehensive acceleration and empowerment. Huge news for Jasmy, guys. Janction, more accurately. Janction is a Japan-originated protocol focused on the AI market. It's a layer 2, guys, on Ethereum. Based on the concept of GPUs as a mining mechanism, Janction provides cheap and stable resources to the AI market by reactivating idle GPUs owned by consumers through two consensus mechanisms: proof of resource and proof of task. Now, this stuff's important to know, guys, because there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to Jasmy. You'll see people say, oh, they just do data democracy. That's all they do. I begged au contraire, mon frère, right? They do far more than that. Just in one brief statement, Janction provides cheap and stable resources to the AI market by reactivating idle GPUs owned by consumers through consensus mechanisms. Okay? Providing GPU power to AI companies is massive moving forward, okay? That is a massive utility, since AI is going to be a massive narrative for years to come. Jasmy and Janction in empowering the narratives is massive. The Web3 Labs and KuCoin Labs Global Acceleration Program aims to deeply explore and empower high-quality projects in the Web3 field. The selected projects will receive resources such as market, business, and investor and exchange resources provided by both parties, including special grant incentives, potential investment incentives, and from KuCoin Ventures, we look forward to more high-quality developers joining. Janction has joined the fold. Absolutely bullish, guys. We will dive deeper into this in a later video, but massive news for Janction. All right, let's get into some of the election coverage because I know that's what you guys want to see today. So what do we got? We tell our clients never invest with your politics over on Squawk Box. Listen up.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Joining us right now to talk markets is Alicia Levine. She's the head of investment strategy and equities at BNY Wealth. Alicia, it's elections day. It's election day, but do you really want to start talking about that and what the market impacts might be depending on what we don't know what's going to happen tonight and tomorrow?
So we've been telling our clients who, people are very concerned about this election on both sides. I'd say this. We tell our clients never invest with your politics because markets always see through and trade on fundamentals and not who's in the White House and not who's in Congress. And so if you look at all the configurations of Congress and who's in the White House, markets rise in every administration, because ultimately markets reflect the fundamentals of the U.S. economy and earnings and growth and margins, and that's what we trade on.
And it's still America.
And it's still America, and it's still the place where capital is treated the best, and we have the deepest markets, the deepest capital markets, and so we still think there's American exceptionalism. So for markets, we see, a lot of conversation around it, but you have to see through it.
Okay, the markets have not only been pretty robust through this. We're talking up 31% for year to date. So there's been none of that pre-election wobble type of situation. Do you expect to see a post-election bounce?
So we're in the strongest quarter of the year. December is the strongest month. Typically, you see the bounce into the end of the year. It's been very surprising that there hasn't been any angst in the market at all. There's been some consolidation around this 5,800, 5,900 point, but that's been the extent of it, even as the bond market has sold off 60 basis points on the 10-year. So this is remarkable. And I think what it's telling you is that the market sees through all the discussion, all the polling, what everybody's saying, and ultimately the economy's fine, corporates are fine, cash flow is fine. And that's what the market trades on. I do think that if there is an extended period of not knowing who's in the White House,
right? That's a different story.
Because it's uncertainty, and in the end,
by the way, guys, real quick, I think that there is actually going to be an extended period of uncertainty about who is going to be in the White House. This is not going to be we're going to know tomorrow who won the election situation. This is likely going to drag out for over a week. I wouldn't be shocked if it dragged out for more than 2 weeks, right? So strap in. It's going to be a while.
Markets trade uncertainty, and whatever the policy is going to be priced in, and we move on.
Okay. If the election is not going to phase you, what about the Fed meeting that starts tomorrow?
So, and it's interesting, it's a day later, right? So the presser's on Thursday. So we're not phased about the Fed meeting. It looks like the jobs report on Friday that came in at 12,000, and even if you add back in that 100,000, that maybe we're assuming that's what's missing.
The 100,000 from the 2 hurricanes that took place and the strike at Boeing, which has now been resolved.
Right. So that gives the Fed room to cut the 25 basis points just to make sure. I think that the cutting the 50 basis points and then right after that getting this really strong data, and then revising upward the previous jobs numbers was not, was concerning probably. And that's where you start to price in. Maybe they don't cut twice into the end of the year, but it looks like they will because of this most recent.
So probably nothing this week, nothing unexpected.
I don't think it's going to be unexpected. And I think they'll just be very careful to toe the road. If we do have a president at that time, I think it's not going to be referred to at all. It's going to be about policy, inflation, growth, and where the real rate is.
We're looking at right now a 98% chance of a 25 basis point cut tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I believe, right? Day after tomorrow. Yes. So no surprises there, right? No surprises there. Eleanor Tourette says if Donald Trump wins, he will be able to demote Gary Gensler from the chairmanship. So here's the thing, guys. No matter who wins the presidency, they cannot fire Gary Gensler. He cannot be fired without legal cause, right? And it's got to be good. It's not easy to fire the chair of a government department, okay? Department head, okay? So in saying that, what they can do is they can demote him from being the chair and promote one of the other commissioners, i.e. someone like Hester Pierce, to be the chair of the SEC until Gary Gensler's term has run out. So they can't fire him, but they can most certainly take his authority away from him, right? So that is what I will look forward to seeing, guys. If they fire him, they have to show in court just cause, which, yes, I get it. It probably isn't that much of a stretch to show the courts that Gary Gensler has been abusing his power, given the courts have been telling him he's been abusing his power, and Congress has been telling him he's been abusing his power that he doesn't actually have. So very, very interesting stuff. So if we read here, it says after today's election, the country may get a new SEC chair, but it's not obvious that Trump or Harris could fire Gary Gensler. The case law and statute do not say POTUS, the president, can fire Gensler just because he or she wants their own chair. So again, he cannot be just terminated. However, he can be replaced as chair of the SEC. Very bullish there. Moving along, we got more from Squawk Box, guys. More coverage here. Check it out.
Voters are out at the polls this morning as the presidential election is down to its final hours. Joining us right now is Bill Daley. He served as Commerce Secretary in the Clinton administration. He was also former President Obama's chief of staff. And Bill, thank you for being with us this morning. It's really good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what you think's happening, because just about 3 weeks ago, you had some commentary, and I think it was Politico, where you said you thought that Kamala Harris was the underdog, that this was former President Trump's to lose in this situation unless things changed in the last 3 weeks of the campaign. What do you think now?
Well, I think I did believe it was President Trump's to lose, and I think he's done a pretty good job of attempting to accomplish that. The last 3 weeks have not been good for him, in my opinion. I think that you've seen the momentum, which is much stronger. And I listened to Frank Luntz earlier, and some of the indicators, whether it's the senior women, white women who generally vote Republican, maybe going a different way. There's a number of signs at the end. Obviously, it is a divided country. The election will be close. Frank laid out different scenarios, and there's many different scenarios. I would differ with Frank in that I do believe we will know, not that the votes will all be counted, but we'll have a pretty good sense of where it's going much earlier than by Saturday. I think by late tomorrow, or maybe midday tomorrow, there'll be a sense of where it's going either way for President Trump or for Vice President Harris. But I think she's got momentum, which is quite important.
But you'd agree that we may not know this, not just tonight, but not tomorrow morning at this time?
Look at that. I think we won't know for certainty. We went I chaired Al Gore's campaign in 2000. We went 5 weeks not knowing exactly who was going to be the president of the United States.
Could you imagine going another 5 weeks without knowing after tomorrow? Could you imagine that? I mean, I don't think we'll know till next week, but 5 weeks?
And the country dealt with it. And we all went through, it was kind of crazy with the court system in Florida and then the federal courts. But America was resolved in having it completed, and it was completed, and we moved on. So all of this talk about violence and all of this stuff, we ought to just all calm down. The system does work.
Part of the reason the system worked in 2000 was because Al Gore conceded. He has since said that he kind of wishes he hadn't done that, that maybe he handed it away by doing that. Do you think either of these candidates will concede if it's close?
Nope.
If it looks where we're down to, I don't know if you still count hanging chads at this point or how we figure this out, but if we're still in that sort of a scenario like that, do you think it will be a gracious concession by either of these candidates?
Nope.
Well, I sure hope so. But if there's a recount in a certain state, as there were last time, the process will work. We went, as I said, 5 weeks with the Chad craziness in Florida. And in the end, President Bush won the state of Florida by 500 votes when the count was stopped. Okay? So we dealt with it. And there's a process for a recount. Just because it's very close by Saturday, let's say, where most of the votes are counted, and there's a recount, that doesn't mean there's some nefarious action going on. And I listened to Frank, and I know my friend Speaker McCarthy will be on next. There's only one reason that there's any doubt about these things, and that's because President Trump 4 years ago put the doubt in the American people that it was not a fair and free election. And it was, as Frank Luntz said. But you still have people, starting with former President Trump, who will not admit that he lost or the election was a fair and free election 4 years ago. That's the only reason there's any.
There's still a narrative.
Interesting take. All right, let's get into an article before we get into more coverage, guys. We're going to talk about Mt. Gox. There's some FUD going around about Mt. Gox. The Mt. Gox nightmare continues. Massive Bitcoin transfer sparks fears. The now defunct crypto exchange Mt. Gox has once again sent shockwaves through the crypto world. This past Monday, the exchange transferred a total of 32,371 Bitcoin, worth approximately $2.2 billion, to anonymous wallets, according to blockchain analytics firm Arkham. This large-scale transfer marks one of Mt. Gox's biggest moves in recent months, as Mt. Gox aims to repay creditors in its bankruptcy proceedings. The timing and purpose of this transaction have raised curiosity and concerns within the crypto community. The transfer from Mt. Gox was split between two separate wallets. The majority, 30,371 BTC, was sent to the address 1FG2C, while the remaining 2,000 BTC was transferred to 1JBEZ. Additionally, the 2,000 BTC move is noted as an internal transfer from one Mt. Gox cold wallets to another, suggesting the exchange might be reorganizing its holdings. This large transaction follows a smaller movement of 500 BTC last week, fueling speculation that creditor repayments may be accelerated. Historically, Mt. Gox transfers have often preceded payment processes, so some speculate that this large transfer may have similar purpose. However, the exchange recently announced that creditor repayments would be delayed until October of next year. Initially scheduled for October 31st, 2024, the date was extended by the Japanese court for an additional year. Mt. Gox bankruptcy was triggered by a series of cyber attacks in 2014, resulting in a loss of around 850,000 BTC and shaking the global crypto market. At the time, Mt. Gox managed over 70% of all Bitcoin transactions worldwide. So they were the Binance and Coinbase of their time. And its collapse left thousands of investors in limbo. Following years of legal proceedings over a decade, a rehabilitation plan was established for creditors. But the recent delay means they need to wait even longer to receive their payments. While this delay has brought some temporary relief to Mt. Gox creditors, market analysts are already evaluating the potential impact of these repayments. Previous announcements from Mt. Gox led to sudden price fluctuations in Bitcoin. As fears of a mass sell-off from the exchanges, Bitcoin's holdings loom over the market. It's anticipated that Mt. Gox future movements could continue to affect Bitcoin's price until the repayment date. Mt. Gox Bitcoin transfers have sparked mixed reactions among crypto investors. The possibility of creditors quickly liquidating their Bitcoin assets has raised concerns about increased selling pressure. Bitcoin's recent price volatility could amplify the effects of each of such transfers. For example, market uncertainty surrounding the US presidential election have contributed to a 7% drop in Bitcoin's price. Now, guys, I don't think for 1 second that the majority of retail creditors that get their Bitcoin back from Mt. Gox are going to immediately dump it when we're getting ready to go parabolic. That doesn't make any sense. However, what I would say is that I anticipate the top of this market cycle being the middle of September to the middle of October of next year. And if they are going to start giving the retail creditors back their Bitcoin at the top, at the end of October of next year, well, then that will be a mass sell-off. But right now, I just don't see it. If I was a Bitcoin enthusiast and I was getting Bitcoin back, I wouldn't be selling it before it goes parabolic. I'd be selling it after it goes parabolic. It doesn't make any sense, right? Market analysts expect highlighted volatility this week, the potential price swings of up to $8,000 in Bitcoin. Should Mt. Gox creditors start selling their assets, the short-term price drop is likely. Some traders are anticipating further declines depending on the U.S. election results, particularly if Kamala Harris wins. There is concern that stricter crypto regulations could impact prices. Established in 2010, Mt. Gox once managed over 70,000 of the Bitcoin traded, but went bankrupt following a series of hacks between 2011 and 2014. Making one of the biggest crises in Bitcoin's history. Guys, to me, this is just FUD. Creditors are not just going to start dumping Bitcoin before it starts going parabolic, for one, and for two, they're not even, they literally just announced like 2 weeks ago that they're delaying the repayments to the creditors till October of next year. So why people are scared of it right now, simply because of a little transfer, doesn't make sense to me, but I digress, right? All right, what else do we got? Let's go back to another video, shall we? I know you guys like the election coverage, so let's get in there. I think there's good news in the early numbers for both sides. What is he talking about?
You gentlemen like to handicap where we are? Is there any use in trying to do that? Does it matter what either of you think at this point? You might have some, or do you want to just talk about the economic plans? I'll leave it up to you.
No, look, I think there's good news in the early numbers for both sides. I think what is true is this is the closest race I've seen since 2000. And I think anyone who tells you they know what's going to happen tonight's drunk. And so it's
it's like 8 o'clock.
It's early.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right. There are people like that.
Right.
I know,
there are. Yeah.
It's not good. It's just
No.
sad. It's just sad. Churchill. I think, half the time.
No, I think it's exactly right.
I'm afraid to go to you. As you start slurring, Stephen, we're going to put you in that camp. You all right?
Well, look, I think that you guys, first of all, did an excellent analysis of where we are on this race right now. You know, if you're Trump and you want to see him win, as I do, you want this election to be. Remember, Clinton said it's the economy, stupid. We want it to be about it's the pocketbook, stupid. It's your wallet, stupid. It's your 401k plan. There is very little question, Joe, that if you ask voters who's better on the economy, then clearly Trump is going to win. By the way, this is all covered in my book, The Trump Economic Miracle, which just came out. I mean, on almost every economic measurement, Trump's performance has been far superior on the economy than what's happened under Biden. But on the other hand, look, if people are going to vote on things like abortion or social issues or other concerns, then Trump might have a problem. But we just keep pressing the fact that the economy will be much better. And one other quick thing, because your show is basically about investors who want to make money. I mean, come on, folks. You're looking, if Kamala Harris is elected, she wants to double the capital gains tax. She wants to increase the dividend tax. She wants to tax unrealized capital gains and raise the corporate income tax rate. Right. That will depress the value of stocks. It's that simple.
Jim, you've got a lot. I think, you know, Stephen has a role, but you could probably sell a lot of things about the current economy, the stock market, GDP, what inflation is coming down. You've got a lot of things to sell. But the one thing in a lot of ads that still, for someone who works at a business network, there still seems to be, and maybe it's not all corporations. I think we all love small corporations and startups, but there seems to be kind of still a target on the back of corporate America and big corporations. I still hear it. I hear it from in the Harris ads about, I'm going to end price gouging, and we're going to raise taxes. We're going to make corporations pay their fair share. Is that not fair?
I don't think it's fair. And part of what she's really campaigned on, which is the first Democrat since Clinton to campaign on, is the small business tax cut, is incentives for small businesses. We know that they grow the economy. Right. There is look. What is true is voters are very concerned about inflation. That is just true. And both campaigns have an idea. Stephen's candidate wants to put the largest tariffs in the history of America on Chinese businesses, which will absolutely tank our economy. And I think Stephen would tell you that.
I don't understand why people believe any politician when they say that they're going to stop price gouging and make big businesses and make millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share. Every politician says that, and it has never happened in the history of politics. So why do people even believe that?
And so it's two very different views, but I think she's really laid out a very clear agenda for small businesses.
I don't think you would tell me that, would you, Steve? Would you say that the tariffs are going to tank the economy? Maybe you would if he was what he said he wanted to do in terms of across the board tariffs, 20% on certain, even higher on other individual cases. Do you think that would tank the economy if it passed, if he did all that?
Well, let me just go back to the issue Jim was talking about, small businesses, because if you look at small business confidence measures, and we have those come out every month, those numbers have been consistently in the tank for 3.5 years now. Small business anxiety, small business fears about what the Biden people have done, the economy, have been astronomical. So you had high business confidence for small businesses when Trump was president, and very low. I guarantee you, Joe, if you had 10 small businessmen and women on your show right now, 8 out of 10 would say they think that Trump would be better. Now, on tariffs, you know me, Joe. I'm a free trade guy. I'm not a big fan of Trump's tariffs. I do think that they're mostly about negotiating tactics, and I think they're about getting a better deal for America because other countries are taking, eating our lunch on trade, and that's not going to happen if Trump is president.
That does make a lot of sense. The tariffs simply being a negotiation tactic definitely make a lot of sense. All right, we got an important message here from Coach V, guys. Listen up to this.
Buckle up and get ready. Crypto is going to make more millionaires than in history the next 6 years. We are now heading in to one of the most parabolic bull runs in history. Today is the election day. Tomorrow we'll wake up and we'll see what the results are. But no matter what, cryptocurrency, banks are all going to be implementing this. Blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology. We're going to watch a video from Raoul Pal, and I'm going to show you how rapidly this is advancing. Do you guys remember back in 2020 how it was still the wild, wild west? 2017, 2018, 2019, it was the wild, wild west. And they told you it was used for money laundering. It was a pet rock. And yes, I repeat the same things over and over again because you need to understand that when you're looking this way, they always change the whole system this way. When you're drunk in the Colosseum, the Trojan horse comes in. From 2024 to 2030, when you wake up in 2030, the whole system is going to be completely different. The middle class is getting wiped out, leverage source technology. They'll be the working poor and very, very wealthy. The good news in this, the normal everyday person has an opportunity to invest in the new infrastructure of our financial system for the next 100 years. Let's dive right in. On the back end of every video, I share with you exactly what I'm doing. So I've showed this video before. If you do not follow Raoul Pal, the journeyman, it is a great channel. This is probably one of my favorite videos that he's ever done. And I highly recommend you go watch the whole video. It says you have 6 years to make as much money as possible. And I completely agree with him. But I want you to listen to what he's about to say in this and then go watch the whole video because he breaks it down in detail. And then I'm going to show you how quickly things are advancing.
And because it's globalized, it can just shift and morph. And so therefore you need the supranationals to do something about it. And that's going to take time. So there's almost nothing to do to slow it down. It's going to change the system. It's going to change how it works. And we can invest in it. So I think we've got 6 years to invest as much as we can, whether it's your brain power or your capital, and both if you can, to make as much difference to unfuck your future as possible now. Then when 2030, 2032, whatever comes along, you'll be better prepared because financially, you'll have maybe got yourself in a position where you've got the house that you want and some security. Now, as we go through the 2030s, in a world of abundance, we don't even know what money is anymore. So this becomes more complicated. So don't think of it as, oh, I got my pile of money and everything's fine. It's more about my pile of lifestyle. Do I have the lifestyle I want? Am I protected from vast societal change?
Okay, I'll let you just go explore that video. It's what I've been talking about, guys. Everything is changing. Remember the
I'll let you guys go see the rest over on Coach's page. But yes, absolutely, man. You have 6 years to make as much as you can to make life-changing wealth for yourself, for your family. You got to do this the right way, guys. There, some will win, some will lose, but it's you don't have much time. Simply Bitcoin. The Bitcoin mining difficulty has reached a new all-time high, cracking 100 trillion for the first time ever. Do you see what's happening, guys? Unbelievable. What other news do we have going on out there? Berenstein predicts Bitcoin will hit 80 to 90K if Trump wins, but it could fall to 50K if Harris wins. They also predict a $200,000 Bitcoin by 2025. Now, guys, do I think that Bitcoin's going to fall down to 50K if Harris wins? No, I don't. Do I think we could have a small pullback, a small correction, maybe 20% or something? Probably, yes, but that's not a knock on. Okay, I'm trying to be neutral here. Okay, that is because there's too much uncertainty on where she stands. That's why, right? It's not because she's come on and said she's against crypto. It's because nobody knows whether she is or not. Okay, so that's the reason for that. Moving along. What do we have? Jack Muller's talking about Bitcoin. You're never too late to get into Bitcoin, guys.
Is because I was with a bunch of no coiners last night. People asking about Bitcoin and couldn't convince themselves to buy it. And the number one thing people keep saying is, I'm just late. I'm late to the game. And I love this is a new idea is thinking you're late to Bitcoin is an ego test. It's just your ego fooling with you. Because late to who? Bitcoin, there is no one taking attendance. Bitcoin isn't even a human. It's a piece of software. It can't take attendance. It doesn't know time. It has no idea when you showed up. It doesn't even give a shit about who you are. So late to who? Oh, late when you compare yourself to other people. Late when you compare yourself to your friends or to your siblings. That's what you're late. So Bitcoin is an ego test. I loved that as well. So I think it's a litmus test. It's an ego test. If you're willing to say, you know what, it is the hardest, best thing for me to own. It doesn't matter if I owned it later or earlier than any other person. That's not what life's about. Life's about being a great person and contributing to the future. And yeah, storing my wealth in something hard. But I found that interesting too, because the number one thing you get from no coiners is I'm late. It's like, oh, you're not late, you're insecure. It's an ego test. Bitcoin doesn't take attendance. It doesn't even know who you are. So you're not late, you're insecure. So as soon as you can fix whatever's going on inside of you, you can own Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will reward you for that. But I love the litmus test and the ego test. It was the first time I heard that. But yesterday when I was talking to all these no coiners, and everyone's like, oh, I'm late. Well, you probably put down the booze. You sound insecure. You don't sound late.
Interesting state of mind. Interesting thought process there. Not terrible. All right. A little bit about Gary Gensler. Check this out, guys. An interview with Gare Bear. Poor little Gare Bear recently. Operation Choke Point 2.0, Senator Warren and Gary Gensler. War on crypto continues.
The SEC chair traditionally resigns on or before inauguration if their party loses. Do you see yourself as a traditional SEC chair?
Well, I'm honored to be the 33rd chair, and I don't know if there's a traditional. There's 4 or 5 of us that were not lawyers, so.
That means no, he's not going to resign.
I'm not a lawyer. Joe Kennedy wasn't, so that puts us in the minority. But again, I'm not going to comment on an election, Hope, as much as you care to pull me in. My legal term does, as a commissioner, runs till the middle of 26. But you're right that traditionally presidents get to decide who the chairs of the SEC. That's a good part of democracy.
Absolutely. Curious though, what was going through your mind when you saw the headline earlier this year that the former president said he would vow to fire you?
My daughters found it interesting. I could say that, and they sent me a few text messages. But other than that, I mean, I thought that's what presidents do to their entire cabinet as well. So I just thought that's part of democracy.
And are you afraid that from reports from Bloomberg that Democratic donors, major ones, are also pushing Kamala Harris's team to replace you? Are you afraid of that outcome?
Hope, I sleep fine at night.
He must be so pissed off, eh? Can you imagine? Oh man, that's gotta be, yeah. That I can only imagine what his daughters were texting him. You know, our dad, the whole country wants our dad fired. Holy, could you imagine seeing that all over the TV and YouTube and everything, all over X about your father? How much people hate him? Could you imagine that? Horrible. BTC, the fact that $70,000 resistance could reject Bitcoin too much just shows how it's weakening the point of rejection. So guys, every time we smash up over 70,000, we weaken it. We got to keep wearing it down, wear and tear, just like we wear and tear the Gare Bear. Okay. All right. What else do we got? More from Squawk Box. We got a lot to get through today, guys.
When you say something like it could be that Dems can't make up the numbers in some states, and then you put 2 states, one of which seems like if you win it, someone said yesterday, who's going to win Pennsylvania? And the person, and Jay Clayton said the next president is the one who will win Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So you're saying that early voting that appeared to be, how do you know, it was very heavy, but how do you know it favored Republicans in Pennsylvania and North Carolina?
Well, in Pennsylvania, it looked like the party margin was about 400,000 plus Democrat. That's a lot for Democrats to make up on election day. Again, I haven't seen the final. We won't get that till this morning. Now, some Democrats will say, well, there was a lot of independent in that vote, and we got some of that too. So a lot of spinning going around. I think the challenge is, honestly, we don't have a lot of precedent for this kind of early voting. We had a lot of early voting in 2020, but it was a pandemic, and we had then President Trump telling his people not to do it. So yes, Republicans have looked very, very strong, relatively speaking, in the early vote, but I think it's anybody's guess as to whether those are high propensity voters who were going to vote anyway on election day, or whether they're grabbing new people. So I honestly think the data is just not going to tell us very much, unfortunately. I do agree that whoever wins Pennsylvania will win this election, and that is why you saw volunteers swarming the state doing door knocking this weekend. I heard one report that there was a point at which Democrats were doing 2,000 door knocks a minute. So to the degree you believe that stuff can get you over the finish line, we'll see.
Yeah, Sarah, in 2020, I think the polls had Wisconsin had Biden up 17, and he won by 1. In 2016, the betting markets had 90% plus Hillary Clinton will be the winner. So we know how polls and betting markets work. Neither one of them work.
They don't work.
I know. You point out this was never a 65% race. That's where some of the betting markets were last week. It narrowed all the way to a 50-50 on Friday. Now it's back to 62-37. Trump, what's happening? What is that? People that really are waging large bets because they believe someone's going to win? Are they trying to make it look like someone's going to win, or are there signs? I mean, in a couple of hours, there will be exit polling numbers, so we can explain moves at that point that people are surmising and usually that data may or may not hold up by the end of the day, by the actual end of the day. But what happened this time? And DJT's back up. I mean, what are people seeing?
Yeah, you're right. Look, the betting market was very, very high. We thought it was a little bit overextended. I'm not sure we totally know yet what was going on there, whether there were some big bets or not driving it. We have a study that shows stocks that moved during the 3 big election events of the year, the Trump assassination attempt, the Biden Trump debate, and the Trump Harris debate. That basket started to move up a little bit yesterday with the financial strengthening and financials weakening a little bit in clean energy stocks, a strengthening. But you're right. Look, the polls haven't been right. It's been very, very hard to poll the Trump voter. We don't know. Look, if the Trump voter shows up historically, beyond what they did in their polls, he's going to be the next president of the United States. If women come out, I'll tell you the thing I'll be watching in the exit polls, the most important number is what percent of the vote is women. Traditionally, it's 52%. If it's 53, 54, 55, that's very, very bullish for Harris. This is a huge gender gap. But look, I think the messaging is all over the place. This race may not end up being close, but it is certainly too close to call.
The fact that some people would vote for someone to run the United States of America based on what gender they are is truly, truly mind-boggling to me. That is the criteria that meets for you to vote for someone to be the president. You might want to rethink your priorities at that point. Wall Street suppressing Bitcoin with the ETFs.
I think we're definitely into 6 digits. I think we're definitely how high, 110, 120. Just depends how much crazy. If you remember, in 17, we went from 10,000 to 20,000 in about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then on December 18th, they allowed futures and we went down. Because again, what's happening, and you can see it on your clock behind you, the price is going down. Well, why is the price going down? Everybody's buying. We had set record for new buys. Remember, a lot of those buys, particularly by the hedge funds and the traders, they're shorting the future against it. So they're pushing the price down so they can buy it cheaper, right? Dirty little secret on Wall Street. If you like something, you don't tell everyone you like it. You tell everyone you hate it, and then you go out and buy more of it. So they're pushing the price down on futures. And that's why in 17 and then 18, we had the bear market all the way down to 3,000. So then in 21, we were at 13,000. We went to 60,000 by mid-February before Elon tweeted that he wasn't going to accept it for cars. And then we dropped 50%. And then it went up 100 back to all-time highs before the bear market. And so I think that's where it changes. So sometime first quarter next year, second quarter next year, we get the next bear cycle. There will be another bear cycle. And the depth of the bear cycle will depend on how high the blow off top is. Because fair value is just going to keep accreting. Fair value today, probably in the 80s, somewhere like that. By middle of next year, it'll probably be closer to 100. And that's just the Metcalfe's law value of the network.
Right.
But if we go to 150 or 160, then we're definitely going to crash. And we'll go right through fair value as we are prone to do. Now, do we go down 84% or 83% or 67%? I don't know. It all depends on how much leverage gets in the system. Because ultimately, that's what determines the cycles. When the price is below fair value, the investors come in. People like me who like to buy things below fair value. That's our job. Then as the price starts to get towards fair value, the traders come in. And traders don't care about fair value. They just want movement. Well, then as you get above fair value, the speculators come in. Well, why do the speculators come in? Because the hedgers, once it's above fair value, they will sell. And a speculator is just the opposite side of a hedger. Right. So the miners hold until it gets above fair value, then they sell. Well, then the gamblers come in. And the gamblers, all they see is a price going up. They just buy it on margin and they hope they can get out before it goes down. And then it just unwinds the same way.
They buy the top. They are exit liquidity. All right, what else do we got? This guy is absolutely hilarious to me, guys. So we're gonna have a look at what he's talking about here. Ron Paul returns, 315K BTC incoming.
All right, pull out those bingo cards. Who had a statist bureaucrat killing a pet squirrel for November? Don't you lie to me. Absolutely no one. But this is where we are in the story now, and I can guarantee you this. We will end the Fed, and for the first time in history, it's actually on the table. You thought last week was crazy? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet, because believe it or not, Peanut and the greatest statesman in history may have just confirmed we're entering the golden age for Bitcoin. The man that taught you to end the Fed is about to be unleashed on the state. And all this could lead to 315K Bitcoin and a lot faster than you think. We're going to show you the math and Max Kaiser's favorite indicator. I'm Rustin, head of news at Simply Bitcoin, and ladies and gentlemen, we are on the cusp of history and the greatest bull run mankind has ever seen. Sunday! This weekend, you started here. Like, what the hell's going on? Something about a squirrel. But then you did what Bitcoiners do. You did the research. Yeah, not cool. They're killing the squirrels. I was right there with John Wick. They did what to Peanut? In case you missed it, once upon a time, there was an orphan squirrel. He was rescued and raised by a lovely family. Hundreds of thousands of people followed the story on social media. The story helped raise money to help other abandoned and abused animals. Then one day, a bunch of men who work for the state came in and killed the squirrel. The end. What is the moral of this story? I think a big moral is something along the lines of the state hates you. Satire. His name was Peanut. And they killed him, Joe. Killed him like a dog. These are sick people, Joe. They're sick people, and Peanut was totally innocent. But they killed him like it was nothing. What absolute clown world are we living in? Peanut the squirrel was not just a rescue squirrel. He was at the face of a nonprofit aimed at helping other animals in need. The New York state government didn't just kill a squirrel. They tried to kill a movement, and that's what the state does, right? We know all about that. I want you to take a look at that beautiful, sweet creature. This is what they took from us. If you're anything like the Bitcoin therapist, maybe this was the final straw. I think a lot of people are at this point. If you've had it up to here, if you just wanted a pet squirrel and came in to join the cause, well, I've got some good news for you. He's back. I don't know what timeline we transported to or how we broke the matrix, but it looks like we sure as hell did it. The Federal Reserve's greatest nemesis for decades, Ron Paul, is joining the party.
I was wondering, I saw that Elon had interacted with you on Twitter about your ideas for cutting. Would you ever be an advisor for him if Trump got in there and put Elon in charge of looking for wasteful spending? Would you help him if he asked you?
Oh, I would. Everybody would know what I believe, but I wouldn't want an official position.
Yeah.
Because I'm sort of steered away from getting too involved in the politics of it all now. And I'm trying to approach this to try to get, especially the young people, because they've been open more so than I always say, young people that were in high school and college when I was doing all the campaigning, I had a receptive audience. I said it wasn't like the Chamber of Commerce people. So I used that as a derogative thing. Chamber of Commerce people meant, the ones that have are lobbying Congress for more money.
Yes, that's right. The man who taught us to end the Fed is getting an opportunity at a revenge tour. And Vikingo is right. Listen to this.
I firmly believe now that our day is coming. The conditions are such that there is room now for the defense of liberty. The people know that the system we have is not working. It's not working economically. It's not working monetarily. Our foreign policy is not working. And therefore, they're looking for answers. They will not welcome us with open arms. We've found that out. But there is a vacuum out there. And the vacuum is not in one political party. It is pervasive. It's throughout the country. It is throughout the political system. But our views are just as pervasive. Ideas spread. They can't stop them. An idea whose time has come cannot be stopped by any army or any government.
I'm still 100% certain Ron Paul's Satoshi. And as he said above, there will be no question about where Ron stands on anything. And this is massive. Think about this crew for a second. And as Ron Paul said, an idea cannot be stopped. And it looks like its time is fucking now. And we are here for it. Now, I know a lot of us are here or started our journey toward Bitcoin from the Ron Paul movement, but there's some younger ones with us, and they may not know the man, the myth, the legend that is Ron Paul. I dropped a ton of highlight reels on my Twitter, but let's roll the greatest speech, arguably, ever. And after listening, you may understand the meme, all roads lead to Ron Paul was right.
What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous? What if propping up repressive regimes in the Middle East endangers both the United States and Israel? What if occupying countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and bombing Pakistan is directly related to the hatred directed toward us? What if someday it dawns on us that losing over 5,000 American military personnel in the Middle East since 9/11 is not a fair trade-off for the loss of nearly 3,000 American citizens, no matter how many Iraqi, Pakistani, and Afghan people are killed or displaced? What if we finally decide that torture, even if called enhanced interrogation technique, is self-destructive and produces no useful information, and that contracting it out to a third world nation is just as evil? What if it is finally realized that war and military spending is always destructive to the economy? What if all wartime spending is paid for through the deceitful and evil process of inflating and borrowing? What if we finally see that wartime conditions always undermine personal liberty? What if conservatives who preach small government wake up and realize that our interventionist foreign policy provides the greatest incentive to expand the government? What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if a military draft is being planned for the wars that will spread if our foreign policy is not changed? What if the American people learn the truth, that our foreign policy has nothing to do with national security, that it never changes from one administration to the next? What if war and preparation for war is a racket serving the special interests? What if President Obama is completely wrong about Afghanistan and turns out worse than Iraq and Vietnam put together? What if Christianity actually teaches peace and not preventive wars of aggression? What if diplomacy is found to be superior to bombs and bribes in protecting America? What happens if my concerns are completely unfounded? Nothing. But what happens if my concerns are justified and ignored? Nothing good.
I think a lot of people are in denial about what is happening right now. Remember,
100%. 100%. All right. What else do we got? Let's get into another article, guys. Let's get into another article. A historical first in the UK. A pension fund invests directly into Bitcoin. An institutional investment, as institutional investments in Bitcoin continue to make headlines, a significant development has emerged from the United Kingdom. For the first time, a UK pension fund has made a direct investment in Bitcoin, marking a notable milestone for the crypto market. UK pension specialist Cartwright played a key role in facilitating this unprecedented move, becoming the first to guide a pension fund in indirectly purchasing Bitcoin instead of utilizing the intermediaries like a spot Bitcoin ETF. The unnamed fund allocated 3% of its total assets directly to Bitcoin. According to Glenn Cameron, Cartwright's head of digital assets, the fund made its Bitcoin purchase last month, investing approximately 50 million euros. About $65 million. Cartwright has since encouraged other institutional investors to follow suit, emphasizing Bitcoin's potential in diversified portfolios. As more local and federal governments consider crypto investments for pension funds in 2024, the UK's interest in digital assets is growing. Legal and General, a major UK pension and investment company with over $1.5 trillion in assets under management, recently expressed interest in exploring tokenized funds as a possible investment offering. In addition to the UK, South Korea's pension fund recently reported an exposure of approximately $34 million to Bitcoin bull MicroStrategy. Meanwhile, in the US, Michigan State Pension Fund disclosed an investment of around $18 million in Bitcoin and Ethereum as of September 30th. Do you see what is happening right before your little spectacles? If you don't, let's have Michael Saylor tell you.
If I bought $100 million worth of Apple stock today, I could say I have big tech exposure. And then at the end of the quarter, I could say, well, maybe I should sell Apple and buy Google. Or maybe I should sell Apple and buy Amazon. And I'm still kind of big tech exposed. I mean, you know, you could trade Twitter for Facebook or Facebook for Twitter, or you could decide that you don't like Facebook anymore, but you like Google. The world's not coming to an end. I mean, anybody that's, there's a lot of supply of big tech, $10 trillion worth of it, right? On the other hand, if you decided that Bitcoin was your thing, you're going to buy a crypto asset and you buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin. And this is, I say this because this is the way the institutions that buy this stuff are going to think. Where they're going to come in there and buy 100 million or 200 million or 500 million. When you decide that you want that, you go through this thing of, okay, what do I want? Well, I don't want big tech because I don't like the underlying exposure to fiat cash flows. I don't want gold because, again, counterparty risk, and it's an open system, and the gold miners are a problem. Okay, I want crypto. Which crypto? There's 6,500 cryptos. Well, write off most of those. Do I, you know, which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay, it's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon. Yeah, we can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% dominance is bullshit, ridiculous, stupid.
See, I love and appreciate and respect Michael Saylor's passion for Bitcoin. What I don't agree with is his inability to understand other cryptos are extremely valuable as well. Being a Bitcoin maxi helps nobody. Speaking of MicroStrategy is pumping. They're about to buy $800 million in Bitcoin soon. Look at this, 19% up on the day for MicroStrategy. Very, very bullish, guys. Very bullish. What else do we got from Cryptos R Us? The whales have slowed their accumulation out of anticipation for what the retail investors will do after the election results. They want to see if there will be any panic selling so that they can buy more. So a lot of whales are sitting on the sidelines right now, guys, waiting to see what is going to come of these results. Another metric, guys, for you Jasmy fans out there, check this out, that shows you Jasmy's going to pump soon. We have in the comment section, this individual says, "You're the only one who still talks about Jasmy, which we do appreciate." Awesome. I appreciate you too, man. But the negativity, I bought at 1.9 cents, and it looks like this token is dead now, unfortunately. Thinking that Jasmy is dead, I have literally just released a crap ton of updates over the last couple of days, including a 2.5-hour live stream with Max about all of the upcoming stuff with Jasmy. If you think that a company like Jasmy is dead at this point in time, you, my friend, are just not doing any research. You are just buying something and hoping that it pumps. That is why you are not winning. Do your research. Gem Insider, people forgot that Root is partnered with Ripple, Coinbase, and all the major Web2 companies you can think of. Root is silently building an ecosystem that will catch everyone off guard. You don't have much time left to accumulate tokens cheap, not financial advice, guys. But as you see here, they have partnered with Futureverse to make Ready Player One a real thing. Can you imagine the awesomeness of that? I would live inside of there, guys. Check this out. New listing for KASPA on coinsbee.com. New spot listing for KASPA. The good news just keeps on coming, guys, as we see Binance created a mining pool for KASPA in August. They also listed KASPA's futures about a year ago. Their mining pool promotional period ends this month. Does this mean when their mining pool promotional period ends, are we about to see a Binance listing on KASPA? Very, very possible, guys. Very possible. More on Algorand as well. Yesterday, we showed a video talking about DeFi staking on Algorand and running nodes. Now we're talking about atomic swaps on Algorand are a native feature. Check it out.
Atomic swaps are a native feature of Algorand.
I just
Atomic transactions, rather, I should say, are a native feature of Algorand, and they can be used to deliver atomic swaps. And so, what is atomicity? And so, it's this idea that, well, certainly in the context of atomic transactions, that you can bunch together or basket or group together a selection of transactions, and you can say, hey, unless all of these transactions are successful, then none of them should be processed. And that's a very powerful idea. To do this type of thing on other networks, you typically need to use smart contracts to build abstraction, and it's really quite complicated. You have to have a whole bunch of back-end stuff to do it. Algorand has this notion or this kind of feature, literally, as part of its core primitives on the protocol, as part of that core selection of features that lets you, when you're submitting transactions, to bunch them together in a group. And like I mentioned, it essentially says, if any of these transactions are bad, it spoils the entire bunch. And so do not process any of them. And so this allows you to create incredible applications for payments. Of course, I think we highlighted it in some of our quite well received videos and ads that we did recently in New York. But the idea that, hey, if you can't trust the seller, and they can't trust you really as the buyer, wouldn't it be great if we can stick the transactions together in a little atomic group and say, hey, only let this go through if both sides, if their transactions are valid?
Absolutely. I love to hear that Algorand is finally doing some marketing as well in New York, but they need to do it globally. Robinhood, Kraken, and Paxos launch global dollar stablecoin network. Crypto and traditional finance companies, including Robinhood, Galaxy Digital, Kraken, and Paxos, have formed a consortium supporting the latest stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. In a November 5th statement, blockchain infrastructure firm Paxos shared that the new open network was designed to accelerate the adoption and use of stablecoins worldwide. Quote, the lack of competition in the regulated stablecoin market has prevented the industry from reaching its full potential. USDG upends this dynamic with a more equitable model that will bring mainstream participants into the ecosystem and accelerate new stablecoin use cases, said Kraken CEO Arjun Sethi in a statement. The network is designed to support the global adoption of Paxos USDG stablecoin launched by the firm on November 1st. USDG is currently only available on the Ethereum blockchain, but Paxos said the stable on other chains as regulations evolve. Paxos will issue the USDG stablecoin out of Singapore, which the firm is substantively compliant. So they have regulatory clarity, or whatever you want to call it, legal clarity in Singapore. Paxos, by the way, guys, is the company that was minting BUSD, Binance's stablecoin, which the US government stopped them from doing. With the Monetary Authority of Singapore upcoming stablecoin framework established in August of 2023. Qualified entities, including custodians, exchanges, and fintech firms, will be able to join the global dollar network by way of invitation. The firm noted that the stablecoin's US dollar backings will be reserved by and managed by Singapore's largest banking institution, DBS Bank. USDG is backed 1-to-1 with the US dollar in dollar deposits, short durations, US government securities, and other cash equivalents, ensuring users can redeem their tokens for fiat. Speaking about the launch of the USDG, Paxos head of products, Renak Daya, said DBS partnership will enable enterprise-level stablecoin adoption. Other digital asset offerings by Paxos include PayPal's USD, that's PYUSD, Pax Dollar, USDP, and Pax Gold, PAXG. And as I said before, they used to mint BUSD, Binance's stablecoin. Other digital, the USDG stablecoin and its digital dollar network will launch in a market dominated largely by two major stablecoin issuers, Tether and Circle USDT and USDC, which command respective dominance of 56 and 27% of the stablecoin supply on Ethereum, according to DeFi Llama's data. So, a new stablecoin coming into the fold, guys. USDG, very interesting. Backed behind it is Robinhood, Kraken, and Paxos. We will stay on top of that. Jumping back over to the Jasmy chart, and we'll get into the chat, guys. Boom. There we go. All right, let's get back into the chat, see what everybody's talking about here. WF Capital, what's up, fam? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Swift, Myria, Turbo, Veracity, Gain, and Ham. Nice. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Lord of the Realm in the house. Get out and vote. Yes, guys, do your part. I'm Canadian, so I ain't got a horse in the race. But make sure, I don't care who you vote for. Don't tell me who you vote for. Just go vote. Do your part, right? That's the thing of it. Sun is hot in the house. What's going on, man? What's going on? Simon, the bull run is coming. Our time is coming. Absolutely. William, good to see you, buddy. Big Kev, what's up, man? Rob, make crypto great again. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. Fraud, what are we waiting for? Uninformed. I don't know what you mean, brother. Bruno, good afternoon, buddy. Batlander in the house. What's up? Good to see you. Juicy. Boomer, my main man. Mr. Reed, what's going on? Lord of the Realm, let's break out Jasmy fam, 100%. David, hey guys, I am ready. I hope everybody's ready because we are going to send. Balaclava man, whoop, let's go Trump, says Cat. What's going on? 3K Sports Unlimited, long time no see. Good to see you, my friend. It is good to see you. Green Tea's in the house. What's up? Dumb Money, liftoff is right around the corner, 100%. Jose, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. DK in the house says Jasmy. Les, good morning, my friend. Good morning. KD3, ready to go. Hybrid Dad in the house. John 316, Austin 316. Leo, if Trump doesn't win and it should be easy, then everything is rigged. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely the general consensus, I would suppose. XCN in the house. Absolutely, man. XCN, one of our favorites. Rob, the OG. I am Jasmy. We're all Jasmy. The beard is gone. Is this a pre-recorded video or something? Yes, you were the first to notice that the beard was shaved today. Elon Muff in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Rod, what's shocking, Rob? Shaken. We'll all know tomorrow if my man wins by a landslide. 100%. Douglas, and people believe Trump lies. I think I need a drink. No kidding, Cat. No kidding. Harris is clear. Nothing Harris says is clear. Yes, exactly. What's up? We got the coach in the house. Yes, exactly. Wise Mind, Gary tomorrow fired. Yes, absolutely. Rockstar Gary's a clown. I agree. I love how he dances around questions. Yeah, the guy does so much dancing, it makes me dizzy. 100%. Rockstar, how embarrassing to have Gary Gensler as a father. 100%. Exactly. Dumb Money, Rob, I don't recognize you. I know your voice, but it don't look the same. Yeah, the beard had to go. Peanut was in the house. Yes. YM Chap, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. The green flood is coming. Any thoughts on Cartesi price prediction? I have a bag. Yes, my friend. I will actually go look at Cartesi for you right now. Since you helped us reach our goal for the channel for for today. So yes, I will go look at it right now for you, my friend. We'll set a new goal and let's go have a look at Cartesi. I have not looked at this project in a while. All right. CTSI. There we go. Oh, it's up 3.6% on the day so far. Not too bad. $97 million market cap. Market cap is reasonable, right? I do like the tokenomics, man. I like it. 83% of the supply in circulation. We're going to go over to the website in a moment. All-time high was $1.74. That was in the last bull run. Very nice, very nice. Let's go check out their X account first. All right, Cortezi, Linux powered rollups, the simple way to build in Web3. Join the community. See how active they are. So one of the key factors for me when I'm evaluating these projects is how active are they on their socials and with their community. So far, yes, they are doing a lot in terms of activity on their socials, so you love to see that. Now let's go have a look at their website. Yep, way to build Web3. Cortezi is a powerful modular blockchain protocol, equips developers access. Nice, nice, nice. I'm not the biggest fan of the way their website looks. I mean, it's an okay website, but it doesn't scream blockchain to me. You know what I mean? But it is still a decent website, for sure. It's a lot of explanation as to what it is that they do exactly and stuff. Their ecosystem, very nice. Base, the fact that Base is in their ecosystem, Arbitrum. What else do we got here? They got quite a bit. Arbitrum, Galaxy. What else looks good in here? Optimism. Shit, there's a lot of good stuff in here, man. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff in their ecosystem for sure. Upcoming events, yes. See, they are very active. I'm very bullish on that. So for me, let me go down to, yes, they are. Okay, so let me pull up the chart and have a look at what's going on with it. All right, this has been one hell of a bear market for it, eh? Look at that. Look at that. So it had a nice run back in February, just like everything else. So it has followed the market fairly consistently, right? And it's just kind of been, you know, with the exception of a little bit of a wick here, it's just kind of been in this, you know, a little bit of a downward trend here. Couple of wicks below, but yeah, I mean, it's holding some pretty decent support along this trend line here, but it's got to get back up over the simple moving averages here, guys. We're about to see a golden cross on here, though. We're about to see the 30-day SMA cross over the 100-day SMA on the daily time frame, so that's good. So it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Could see some push to the upside. Yeah. In terms of where this bad boy could go, I mean, next move for me is going to have to be, I mean, we'll go to the high over there. No, okay. Let me find my tools, man. Let me find my tools. So if we go to the high where we wicked, we're not going to go with the wicks, okay? Let's go right here. Down to the bottom. I mean, you're looking at, right? So its next moves, if we can get that golden cross, a break to the upside, I mean, you could see a move up to, you know, I like to say right here is where my golden pocket is for a lot of these projects. It usually comes right inside of there. So the 182 or the 618 would be reasonable. Next move would be about 18 cents to about 19 to almost 20 cents, right? 18 to about 18 cents 3.2 to almost 20 cents. that would be where my next target would be for Cartesi. Blessed to be a part of this community. Nicholas, big dog. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Jesse and James, man, long time no see. What's good, man? Happy election day. Yes. You know, I want to make America great again. Yes. Richie Rich in the house. Hey, Rob, you think Jasmy's still going to hit at least 70 cents this board? Oh, I do think so. Yes. Yes, I do. Richie Rich, Rob, a true baby face now. Beebs, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Hangman in the house. So much hype and strong community. What's your thoughts on Volt Inu? I think Volt Inu does have a big community. I know that Bleebs covers Volt a lot. He is a part of that community. I think that Volt will do very, very well just because of its community. So, yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that. I don't hold any of it, but I do think that it will have a great bull run. It's not a top tier meme coin, but it is, you know, it is a top, I don't know, maybe tier 2 meme coin. I don't know. It'll do okay. I think it'll do okay. So, all right, guys, listen, we're all caught up in the chat. We are all caught up in the news. We've done our price targets, our price predictions. Guys, for future reference, if you want a price prediction, you want me to do a little bit of a dive into your favorite altcoin, send a super chat and I will get that done for you. I will see you guys at 8:00 p.m. Central tonight for the next live stream. And jump over to the Patreon, guys. Book a one-on-one coaching call with me or join our group Zoom calls where we discuss everything from taxes to profit taking to portfolio structure to compounding gains. We just did a swing trade, guys, over on the Patreon yesterday. And we are up hundreds of percentages on this swing trade that we pulled off yesterday. You're missing out. You got to get over to the Patreon, guys. You're losing money not being over there at the end of the day. So check it out. The link is down below. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys at 8 p.m. Central for tonight's live stream.